and welcome back to Tech Talks, the People and Planet podcast. Today, we have a truly inspiring guest with us, Patrick Metzger. Patrick is the product director at idealist.org, and he's here today to shed some light on the incredible work that they're doing in of volunteer opportunities and social impact, from opening doors to entry-level positions to driving executive-level initiatives. Idealist.org is at the forefront of connecting passionate individuals with meaningful roles in non-profits, social impact businesses, and corporate social responsibility projects. Patrick, welcome to the show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thanks so much, Tony. It's great to be here.
Cool. So, look, I'm really keen to, sort of dive into everything Idealist related. But I wondered, just to kind of sort of kick things off, if you could maybe, for the listeners, share a little bit about your journey specifically. I know that hasn't necessarily been a sort of a linear path. So I think you kind of sort of started off in sort of social network analysis within tech, and now moving into your kind of current role as director of product at Idealist. What was kind of, I guess, inspired that transition towards making a sort of a social impact?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not a direct path. I guess I was always tinkering with computers as a kid, and so tech was on my mind. But yeah, my first job in tech was at a startup, Graphica, so that they're actually still going strong today. In a way that was making its own impact. I was helping to understand how online communities form and identify disinformation as it flows through online networks. And I guess, yeah, I've always felt a strong pull to make the world a better place for everyone. In college, and when I first graduated, that was sort of took the form of very small donations and then showing up to protests. The climate marches in particular have been an awe-inspiring phenomenon over the last few years, or the last decade, really, I guess. But at a certain point, I really wanted my professional career to focus on affecting social change. So I was lucky enough to get hired as a product manager at Planned Parenthood, Federation of America, so the national office for Planned Parenthood. I worked there for a couple of years, helping to rebuild the website from the ground up. So PlannedParenthood.org and PlannedParenthoodAction.org, including a content management system that they're still using now. So that was really, really exciting, amazing learning experience. I had built some technology before, but to kind of work with millions of people on that scale, supporting folks finding the healthcare that they need is really exciting. And then I've been working at Idealist for 6 years now. Idealist.org, I think you kind of mentioned, is best known as the #1 job board for nonprofit and social impact professionals. Many people don't know that we ourselves are a 501c3 nonprofit. So our mission is to help build a world where all people can lead free and dignified lives. And we can talk a little bit more about what that means maybe, but that's kind of the big vision.
Cool. No, thanks for sharing that. And yeah, I guess, as you say, kind of sort of moving on to, more things specifically related to Idealist. Obviously, I know that they've been, instrumental really in providing transparency and support for job seekers, within that kind of sort of non-profit sector. I wondered maybe if you could, kind of sort of just give us a little bit of an overview on that, and, I guess more specifically about maybe some of the impactful tools and features that have been developed to assist individuals in those kind of sort of career journeys.
Yeah, totally. So a major way that we work toward our mission is by helping people find meaningful work and helping organizations find great talent. That's, the sort of jobs, somebody can post a job and somebody finds a job that's like really meaningful work in a way that often isn't the case when you're just hunting on other sites. In addition, we have a nonprofit salary explorer, which allows people to find out how much money they could make in different roles at nonprofits. We have a resume recommender where hiring professionals can discover great talent that could be a fit for their role without needing to wait for someone to apply. And we also have internships, volunteer opportunities, career advice articles, and community building tools, and really so much more that we do as well.
Cool. One of the things you mentioned there, the resume recommender, that sounds quite intriguing. I guess, it'd be good to kind of understand exactly sort of how that works, and I guess specifically what sort of benefits does that potentially bring to job seekers.
Yeah, totally. So we have a huge database of people in the Idealist community who have uploaded their resume and said they want to be discovered by hiring managers and recruiters. So really, it makes people more visible. They can be discovered in a different way. We've built a recommendation engine that's able to match a candidate's work experience based on the job titles an organization is posting. So right from the moment someone posts a job, they're going to have high quality candidates that they can review and consider for the position. And what we've labored over the most to make it as great as possible is getting those recommendations right with as little intervention from the person looking for candidates as possible. So we've really refined that algorithm over the last year or so, and the recommendations are incredible now. So we're doing a slow rollout of this feature to more and more organizations on our site.
Cool. And I guess just literally on that basis, do you kind of sort of, is there any sort of figures behind, you know, how many people are kind of sort of matched through job roles through the email recommender, as opposed to kind of sort of, you know, a more kind of sort of manual or traditional method?
Yeah, so I mean, it's we're making hundreds and thousands of matches every day. There are 77,000 people discoverable in the resume recommender.
Wow.
We're getting like 1,000 new resumes every week or so, and so yeah, it's really kind of a major way now that organizations are starting to hire people through the site.
Cool. And what's, I guess, what's kind of sort of bigger picture for you then, Patrick? Are you kind of sort of looking to, because at the moment it's kind of sort of, is it specifically within the US, or are you kind of sort of looking to potentially expand, you know, outside of the US? What's the sort of situation there?
Yeah, so we have an international presence. Idealist has been around for almost 30 years now.
Wow.
Ami Dar, the executive director and one of the founders, he really launched the site really at the dawn of the World Wide Web. So pretty early on in the organization's history, there was a need for Spanish translation. Over the years, that's really evolved into a whole team working on internationalization, primarily in countries that speak English, Spanish, or Portuguese. So in addition to opportunities you might find in Canada or the UK, and of course the US, you'll also find opportunities in Argentina or Ecuador, Brazil, or Ghana, or Kenya.
Wow.
In terms of challenges that we've run into with that, I would say, you know, we just have major ambitions to help foster positive change all over the world. So we kind of have to focus our efforts where we think we can have the most impact. But in the vein of successes, we often see that when we spread ideas for how people can give back to their community, everyone is just inspired and ready to jump in. We end up with these network effects and feedback loops where the ideas behind a specific campaign linger and spread beyond our initial imagining. So that's been exciting to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely, of course. And I think as well, you mentioned, I think it was like a salary comparison tool. Sounds like a, I guess, powerful resource really for professionals. See, I wondered if maybe you could kind of sort of give us a bit more insight into that and how it's accessible, I guess, to that kind of sort of wide range of users that you have.
Yeah, so if you go to idealist.org/salaries, you'll find our nonprofit salary explorer. We've been gathering tens of thousands of salary submissions from nonprofit professionals working in lots of different roles. You know, we have like 2,000 synonyms in our database of different titles. So the main benefit we provide out of the gate is salary transparency. We want to bring better pay equity to more organizations in the nonprofit sector. So, you know, you tell us a bit about yourself, your job title, location, years of experience, and we'll show you the range of salaries that people make in jobs like yours. We've actually, you know, we've heard some incredible feedback about people using our platform in salary negotiations, and that's exactly the kind of worker empowerment we're looking to facilitate. So yeah, we have tools that can kind of help chart your career path and imagine what you could be making in a different role or with more experience. So yeah, there's a lot there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I guess kind of sort of exploring user profile features and
Mm.
social connections is I guess a really fascinating endeavor. How do you kind of sort of envisage these elements enhancing the overall experience of Idealist for both job seekers and organizations as well?
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, we're in the early discovery phase as we think about what a public idealist profile for individual people could be and what it could do for folks. Our main goal is to facilitate community to help connect with others who share their values. You can imagine a lot of the matchmaking we're doing between someone's professional experience and jobs can also be used to facilitate kind of collective action. So we actually commissioned a national research study recently, and we'll be releasing our findings later this year. But basically, we wanted to more fully understand people's sense of community currently. We know that loneliness and feelings of isolation are high, and especially in this post-pandemic era, we wanted to better understand perceived barriers to community involvement. And so we found that nearly 2/3 of US adults, that's 63%, think that lending a helping hand in their local community is more important now than it was 5 years ago. And the vast majority, 80% of people surveyed, would love to be more involved if they had specific guidance about how to go about it. So we're
Mm,
excited at Idealist to see if we can do more to help in that area. We're just starting to consider what's possible.
cool. And then I guess just, I think finally it'd be good to kind of understand what's kind of next for Idealist. You've obviously kind of sort of I guess in a sense achieved to a massive degree what you kind of sort of what I'm assuming the founder initially sort of set out to do, but I'm sure you're always kind of sort of looking to improve and develop on that as well. So yeah, I guess as the product director, what are the sort of plans for the future?
Yeah, well, and to some extent, we achieved the some initial things that Amidar was hoping to do, but also from the earliest days, he really wanted to, have Idealist make an impact that changes the world for the better. Helping people find a career and get more people involved in nonprofits is a great way to do that. But
Sure.
you think about all of the many forces that are at work in the world right now, and I think community and coming together and helping people find ways to help out and jump in is more needed now than ever. And so we're sharing ideas in our resources, and we're hoping to facilitate more of those kind of in-person connections and online connections that can make the world a more peaceful and yeah, dignified place where people can live their lives.
Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for providing us with some really invaluable insights into the world of volunteer work and social impact opportunities. So, if there is anybody out there looking for, that type of work to really kind of sort of have a long-lasting impact on the world, then please do go ahead and check out idealist.org. You'll not regret that. So yeah, I guess again, thanks so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, Patrick, and yeah, hope we can continue lines of conversation and speak again in the future.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, Tony. Talk soon.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Cheers.